champions, welcome back. We're coming with you live with the 8th and final chapter of our story, One Day in the Desert by Jean Craighead George. So it's our final chapter of this book. We've been working on our How Do Animals Adapt project mentioned in a previous video. And so this is our final chapter. As I read through, take notes. You've got 5 to 10 questions to answer based on this chapter at the end. With that being said, let's begin. Chapter 8. The flash flood that had trickled, then roared, trickled, and then was gone. The banks of the arroyo dripped. Bird Wing and her mother walked to the spot where their hut had been. There was no signs of house, pack rat nest, saguaro, or lion. But for the lion, we would be dead, said Birdwing. We must thank him. She faced the mountain and closed her eyes for a moment. Her mother picked up an ocotillo stick and turned it over in her hand. We will rebuild our house up the mountain above the floodline, she said. Birdwing nodded vigorously and gathered sticks too. The kangaroo rat sat in her room above the U-trap that had stopped the water from reaching her. She waited until the floodwater seeped into the ground. Then she began to repair her labyrinth. The peccaries came out of the saguaro forest and rooted for insects among the billions of seeds that had been dumped on the land by the flood. The land was greening, the sky was blue. The roadrunner came back to the saguaro forest, ran down a young snake, and ate it. The cactus wren and owl did not call. The rattlesnake did not rattle. They had not survived the wrath of the desert. On this day, July 10th, Birdwing walked to the arroyo edge. The earth trembled at her feet. She looked down. Plugs of sand popped out of the wet bank like corks. In each hole sat a grinning spadefoot toad, creatures who must grow up in the water. Then what are they doing in the desert? How are toads appearing in the desert when there is so little rain, no water for them to survive? They hopped into the brilliant sunshine and leaped into the puddles in the arroyo. Quickly they mated, quickly they laid eggs, and quickly they ate and dug backward into the sand with the spades of their feet. Far underground, their skins secreted a sticky gelatin that would prevent them from drying up. In this manner, they survived in the hot, waterless desert. So they create kind of a jello layer around them so that they don't dry out. The warm sunlight of late afternoon heated the water in the puddles, speeding up the development of the toad eggs. They must hatch into pollywogs and change into toads before the blazing heat dried up the puddles. At 7:33 p.m., soft blue and purple light swept over the beautiful desert. In the puddles, the pollywags swam. So, that brings us to the end of our story, One Day in the Desert. Thank you for watching all 8 of these videos, learning more about what it is like to be an animal or a plant living here in the Sonoran Desert. We're working on our projects at home. You've got 5 to 10 questions to answer for this chapter. And with that, stay awesome. And I'll see you when we cover our next book,